At the start of the movie, we see a beautiful freshman student named Smile. She is in a hurry to fill out her application form. We learn that every student has to apply to a club or else they have to repeat a year. On the way, she accidentally bumps into a handsome boy named Bads. The latter is left confused by the sudden incident, but before he can say anything, Smile quickly apologizes and leaves. After this, she hastily makes it to the school elevator and breathes a long sigh of relief. Just then, another handsome guy, Kyro, enters the elevator and makes himself comfortable. Seeing him, Smile cannot contain her happiness, and she begins blushing profusely. It turns out she has been infatuated with Cairo ever since she laid eyes on him. Moments after they start the elevator, it experiences some electrical problems. Soon enough, the lights go off and the elevator shuts down. Out of fear, Smile jumps over Cairo and hugs him tightly, screaming that she is afraid of the dark. Once the electricity is back and the elevator door opens, some students waiting outside find Cairo and Smile in a very awkward position. They tease the pair, and this only makes Smile blush even more. However, she comes back to her senses and assures everyone that nothing is going on between them. Before leaving, Cairo suggests Smile sign up for his music club as she is good at playing piano. Hearing this, our bubbly protagonist happily agrees. Cut to the next scene, we are introduced to Smile's best friend and roommate, Ani. It turns out Ani has a huge crush on Bads, the one Smile collided with at the start of the show. The girls talk about a contract they signed between them, which highlights that they agreed to propose to their crushes at the same time. They realize that the time has finally come, so they decide to make a move the following day. The next day, Smile and Ani each bring a kangaroo toy, hoping to impress Cairo and Bads respectively. Smile meets Cairo at the school lobby and declares her love for him. Unexpectedly, Cairo leans forward and kisses her. Smile's heartbeat races so fast she abruptly moves backwards. Cairo then says that although Smile's heartbeat was throbbing, he didn't feel anything. So, she can only date him once she is able to make his heart race like hers. Meanwhile, Ani also gets rejected by Bads as he already has a girlfriend. Later that night, the two best friends sit together on a balcony and mourn their failed love lives. While they are chatting, Ani notices a poster of a boy-for-rent program. She then suggests they use the program so that they can learn how to seduce a boy and eventually make their crushes fall in love with them. Suddenly, the poster drifts away and falls to the ground. At the same time, a fellow classmate, Liz, who is Bad's girlfriend, notices the poster. We learn that the two are going through a rough patch at the moment. Bads is not giving enough time to their relationship, so Liz is suspicious. She thinks Bads is cheating on her. After reading the poster, she too decides to rent a boy to make him jealous, or at least try to get his attention. Just then, Smile arrives at the scene to get the poster. The two girls have a small discussion over it, each claiming they had it first. When no one backs off, the poster is accidentally torn in two pieces. This infuriates both the girls, but nonetheless, they decide to go their separate ways with one half of the poster each. Next, Smile visits the place specified on the poster. Her identification is checked and confirmed, and thereafter, she meets the manager of the Rent-A-Boy program. The manager introduces himself and explains the rules of the program. Smile has to pay a certain amount, and if the boy she rented doesn't fulfill her needs, she can get a refund. They don't reveal the name of the rented boy unless the client meets him in person. Smile happily agrees to the conditions and signs the paper. Meanwhile, Liz also visits the place, but since she doesn't have her identification card at the time, she isn't allowed to meet the manager. She tries to convince the security guard that she is not underage, but to no avail. Dejected, Liz returns to her car, only to come across Cairo. Apparently, he has a music club in the same building. Liz mistakes him for a waiter and asks for his help to get entry into the program. The latter is a bit offended, but he agrees to help her anyway. However, Liz announces that she doesn't take help for free, so she offers him a handful of money. Meanwhile, in another room, Smile anxiously waits for her rented boy. The door slowly opens and we learn that the boy is none other than Bads, her best friend's crush. This takes Smile by surprise, and she is lost for words. Seeing her reaction, Bads worries that she doesn't like him. He explains that she has the right to change her rented boy if she doesn't feel comfortable. In response, Smile clarifies that he is actually her best friend's crush, so things could get awkward between them. Hearing this, Bads remembers Omni and how she proposed to him with a toy kangaroo. As the two continue talking, Smile gets a bit more comfortable and asks how they should interact with each other. Bads wants him to do all the things couples do, as that is exactly what he is here for. Smile then reveals that she likes Cairo, so she wants to learn how to impress him. She rented Bads so that he can teach her how to make a boy fall in love with her. Meanwhile, we learn that Liz's rented boy is none other than Cairo. Also known as the bad boy, he picks up Liz from school the following day. She hesitantly gets into Cairo's car and clarifies that she only rented him so that she can make her boyfriend, Bads, jealous. In response, Cairo reveals that he knows about her relationship. He also claims that Bads is cheating on her with another guy. Elsewhere, after her meeting with Bads, Smile returns home. On the way, she comes across a club which is owned by Cairo. Being the curious girl that she is, Smile steps into the bar and learns that there is prize money for people who can dance on the stage and collect 10 roses from the audience. Just then, the host sets her eyes on Smile and calls her onto the stage. The latter doesn't hesitate and confidently dances to the song while the audience watches her. It's a very average performance, which prompts a lot of people to taunt her. But Smile disregards them and continues dancing until she finally begins getting roses from her admirers. Unfortunately, at the end of her performance, Smile only gets a total of 9 roses, so a scary-looking guy insists she take her shirt off. Smile becomes nervous and starts regretting that she ever came to the club. Thankfully, Cairo saves the day as he gives the last rose to Smile. It turns out he was watching her dance from the beginning. However, the scary guy from earlier claims that Smile's time is long over, so she has to face the punishment. Cairo, who is the owner of the club, doesn't like the man's words, so they get into an argument. But before anything serious happens between the two, Bads arrives at the scene and defends Smile. In a fit of rage, he takes off his own shirt and threatens the scary-looking guy not to ever bully her. He then grabs Smile and storms out of the club. Once they are alone, Bads scolds Smile for not returning home and getting involved in unnecessary things. Our bubbly girl apologizes sweetly and asks him to drop her home. Once back at her apartment, Ani asks Smile about her rented boy. Realizing that her best friend may feel bad if she knows about Bads, Smile lies to her, saying that the boy she rented doesn't match her criteria. Meanwhile, as Liz buys a watch for herself at a shopping mall, Cairo arrives at the scene and starts commenting on her choice. He remarks that although the watch she chose is pretty, her choice of boyfriend isn't the same. It's better that she gives him a chance to be her boyfriend so that he can treat her well and give her everything she deserves. Liz isn't moved by Cairo's words, and she clarifies that she just hired him to make Bads jealous. The following day, Bads and Smile meet at their usual time for the latter's lesson. They chat for a while, and Bads says that Cairo likes girls who are sexy and smart. So, he suggests Smile loosen her hair and change her nerdy look. But right then, Bads remembers that he has a date with Liz that evening, so he hurries out of it. Smile also heads home. However, she is followed and teased by the shady guy from the other day. Meanwhile, Bads' motorcycle is jammed, so it takes some time to fix. Once the bike is ready to go, he hops on it and heads home. On the way, he hears Smile's call for help. Thankfully, he manages to find her and confront the bully. The two then get into a major brawl, but in the end, it is our handsome protagonist who emerges victorious. Because of the incident, Smile is in no shape to return to her apartment. She fears that Ani might ask unnecessary questions, which could lead to her finding out about Bads. Seeing Smile worried, Bads offers to take her home so that she can change her clothes and rest for a while. Smile happily accepts the help, and the two head for home. Once they reach there, Bads makes her comfortable and then rushes for his date with Liz. Unfortunately, when he finally arrives at the restaurant, he doesn't find Liz. Turns out she already left the building and was pretty sad the whole time. Feeling guilty, Bads visits Liz at her home. Initially, she doesn't answer him at the door, but she cannot help but forgive him. Bads then apologizes to his girlfriend, saying that he had some important matter to settle, which is why he was late. He then hands over a gift to Liz, as it turns out it's their second love anniversary. As for Liz, she had planned a surprise at Bads' home, so she insists they go there. Bads is in big trouble now since Smile is at his place. He tries to change Liz's mind, but to no avail. In the next scene, the couple arrives at Bads' place. Our handsome lad quickly hops into his apartment after asking Liz to wait outside. He then starts looking for Smile to warn her. However, his weird behavior only makes Liz more suspicious. Smile, on the other hand, is nowhere to be found, so Bads invites his girlfriend in. After a while, Liz reveals the surprise, which turns out to be a cute setup decorated in Bads' washroom. The couple exchange hugs and love for each other. However, Bads still doesn't know Smile's whereabouts, so he keeps checking his phone, hoping that she will answer his texts. Liz notices this and becomes even more convinced that Bads is in a relationship with someone else. Soon enough, she bursts into tears and begins questioning their relationship. She pours out her grievances and asks her boyfriend if he is seeing someone else. Bads promises he isn't cheating on her, but he cannot tell the whole truth. This only breaks Liz even more, so she storms out of his place. But before leaving, she proposes that they take a break from their relationship. Meanwhile, we finally see Smile, who has been hiding in Cairo's private room in his club, as she has no other place to go. Cairo also arrives there, and the two chat for a while. Smile explains her situation and hopes to spend the night with him there. However, their conversation is interrupted by a phone call from Liz, asking Cairo to accompany her. Although the latter is a flirt, he likes Liz, so he leaves as soon as he takes the call. On the other side of town, Bads is worried sick about Smile. It turns out he has started to like Smile and her personality. He even visits her apartment, but the door is answered by Ani. She can't believe that her crush is right in front of her at the door, so she gets super excited and even touches him to make sure she isn't dreaming. In the meantime, Cairo meets Liz at the club. To wash away her pain, she starts drinking heavily. Cairo tries to stop her, but she won't let him. Out of nowhere, he then kisses her on the lips. After a while, Liz starts dancing with strangers while Cairo watches her intently. She is so wasted that she can't return home, so Cairo takes her to his place. There, the two chat for a while and Cairo suggests that she forget about Bads. He continues insisting on being her boyfriend. However, Liz says that it isn't so easy to let someone go, especially when you love them dearly. As night falls, Liz falls asleep and suddenly wakes up to find herself in Cairo's bed. She starts fretting, thinking he did something to her. Initially, Cairo teases her that she was good the other night, but then he eventually reveals that nothing happened between them. Meanwhile, Smile finally returns to her apartment and is taken aback to see Bads outside her room. Turns out he has been waiting for her the whole night. Smile apologizes and explains her situation. She then heads to the shower to freshen up, and once she is out, she finds Bads sound asleep in her bed. Smile too decides to rest for a while, so she makes a bed for herself on the floor. Surprisingly, Bads joins her on the floor and says that if she wants to be closer to Cairo, then she has to start practicing from now on. He also teaches her how to hug. In between these moments, the pair comes closer to each other, and Bads slowly leans forward to kiss Smile. However, they are interrupted by a phone call. It's from Ani urging Smile to open the front door as she left early from work. Hearing this, Smile begins to panic as she doesn't want Ani to misunderstand their situation. With no place to hide, Bads decides to fake being asleep on Smile's bed. Our cutesy heroine then unlocks the front door and tells Ani that Bads is in their room to meet her. Ani is more than excited, so she hops in the bed and leans forward to kiss Bads while he is asleep. Suddenly he wakes up and clarifies that he is indeed here to meet Ani, but he wants her to not pursue him anymore as she isn't his type. Sadly, Ani has to oblige. Meanwhile, Liz and Cairo bump into each other at school, and Liz thanks him for taking care of her the other night. Cairo then invites her to his club and introduces her to his bandmates. Apparently, he is in a famous band, and they are lacking a female singer. So, he and his friends ask Liz to join them. Later that evening, they practice for a while, and Liz also joins the group. We realize that Cairo is slowly impressing Liz and winning her heart. They also perform a song together, which Liz and Bads used to perform together. The following day, Smile makes a plan to visit Cairo at his club. For this, Bads helps her get ready by changing her nerdy wardrobe. Smile wears a new black dress and high heels, giving her a complete makeover. The only thing missing is a pretty shade of lipstick. Unfortunately, Smile doesn't even know how to put on lipstick, so Bads, the all-rounder, helps her with it. In the meantime, he gets overexcited and leans forward to kiss Smile. As their lips touch, Smile abruptly brings Bads back to his senses and asks if he's alright. The latter appears to be embarrassed, so he apologizes for the kiss, but it's evident that he has started to like Smile. After they are done, the pair go to the club, but Cairo is nowhere to be found. Hence, while they wait, Bads teaches Smile how to approach boys with confidence. He also sings for her, and the two spend a lovely time together. However, Smile starts worrying and concludes that Cairo doesn't like her. That's why he's standing her up. Bads tries to calm her, but he is equally angry at Cairo for being late. Suddenly, the pair hears footsteps approaching. Bads immediately hides behind a sofa, and we see Cairo entering the room. Smile is elated when she sees her crush. As soon as he arrives, Cairo starts flirting with her and also teaches her to play guitar. After they chat for a while, Cairo comes closer to kiss Smile. Meanwhile, Bads watches them from behind with envious eyes. It's evident that he is hurt by what he sees. Therefore, he intervenes when the flirty guy is just about to kiss Smile. As expected, Cairo is shocked when Bads appears out of nowhere. The latter reasons that he was just looking for a musical instrument and that he had to hide when he saw the couple together. Smile also claims that she didn't see Bads as she was busy doing her makeup. Cairo understands, but he doesn't want to see Bads lurking around anymore. Now, there is obvious tension between the two boys because of Liz, and also because of Smile. They have inadvertently fallen into a love quadrangle. In the next scene, Cairo goes downstairs to his club where Liz is also present. She has been drinking all day as she is still heartbroken. Cairo joins her and tries to be the man and stop her from getting wasted. Meanwhile, Bads sees the two and gets angry. He decides to confront Cairo and punch him in the face, but but he soon remembers what Liz told him the last time they met. She wants a break from their relationship, so Bads realizes he should give her some space. He then calls Liz's best friend and asks her to pick her up from the club. However, the best friend lies and says that Liz is with her and that everything is fine. Heartbroken, Bads also gets drunk and returns home. Moments later, Smile arrives at his place to return the dress he had bought for her. She sees Bads in such a wasted condition and realizes it's all because of his relationship with Liz. However, Bads says there's more to their story. Apparently, he isn't voluntarily working for the Boy for Rent program. His little sister had once rented a boy and she couldn't pay the full amount. Because of the debt, the manager had threatened the sister, which is why Bads intervened. Since they didn't have the money to settle the due amount, the manager proposed Bads work for the program, as he is a popular guy at school and most girls would want to rent him. Hearing all this, Smile is taken aback, but nonetheless, she understands his situation and supports him. The two then chat for a while and fall asleep on the sofa. Meanwhile, Cairo takes Liz to a beach, and they too spend quality time together. The following day, Bads attends his drama class where he is playing the main lead. However, he is still haunted by Liz's memories, so he keeps on visualizing her face on his fellow female lead. To make matters worse, the school's group chat is brimming with Liz and Cairo's gossip. Bads doesn't feel like continuing the acting class, so he leaves abruptly and goes to a corner to have some time for himself. Smile, who is also present there, notices this and goes after him. She then attempts to cheer him up with her funny antics. Later, Bads and Smile go to a gaming store and spend quality time together. They play a couple of games, and after that, Bads continues teaching Smile how to impress her crush. They also sit together and eat, and Bads teaches her to be ladylike, giving her lessons on dining etiquette. On the other side of town, Liz takes Cairo to a dog cafe. It turns out he is afraid of dogs, so Liz slowly tries to eliminate that fear by introducing cute and friendly dogs to him. In the meantime, Bads and Smile go to a theater and watch a movie. He continues to give her lessons by teaching her how to hold hands if she ever comes on a movie date with Cairo. Elsewhere, Liz and Cairo go to a shop where the shop lady mistakes them for a couple. They awkwardly smile and continue their shopping. Later, as Liz is waiting in the parking lot for Cairo to get his car, suddenly a robber snatches her purse and begins taunting her. Thankfully, Cairo arrives just in time to help Liz. He wrestles with the robber, punches him, and gets some in return. Eventually, the robber flees, and Liz tends to Cairo's wounds. Back at the theater, Liz's best friend spots Bads and Smiles together and misinterprets their relationship. To make matters worse, she also takes their photo and sends it to Liz. The latter is devastated when she sees the photo. In a fit of rage, she tells Cairo that she will be spending the night at his home. They then drive to his home, where they bond even more. The pair spend their night jamming together, and Cairo even records their duet and uploads it online. Later, Liz sees a couple of photos in Cairo's room where the face of the man is scratched out in every photo. Cairo explains that it's his father, who used to be a drunkard. Because of his drinking problem, his mom left them for good. Moreover, his father would treat him so badly that Cairo is still traumatized by his horrible childhood. He often gets nightmares about his father and how badly he was treated. Meanwhile, Bads joins Smile at her apartment as part of his usual client service. She wants to learn how to kiss so that she can be ready when the time is right. Bads leans forward and kisses her, and while they're doing so, Ani, who has a huge crush on Bads, suddenly arrives at the scene. As expected, she feels betrayed and doesn't want to hear Smile's explanation. She then packs up her bags and decides to leave the apartment. Smile is heartbroken since Ani misinterpreted her relationship with Bads. So, after giving it some thought, she decides to change her rented boy. Bads learns about this through the manager of the Boy for Rent program, and he too is shocked and heartbroken. Moments after his meeting with the manager, he bumps into Smile and her new rented boy, who seems to be rather arrogant. Bads confronts Smile, but she doesn't say anything to him. Cut to the next scene, Omni is back in the apartment to get her stuff. Smile tries to talk to her, but Ani is deeply saddened and furious at the same time. She blames Smile for playing with her feelings and betraying her trust. After Ani storms out of the apartment, Smile's new rented boy arrives at the door to pick her up. She hesitantly gets ready and goes out with him. Meanwhile, Liz visits Cairo's club and learns that he has been called out for something important. She then meets his bandmates and learns that they are short a singer since Cairo cannot make it on time. Having no one else to turn to, Liz calls Bads and asks him to perform with them. As expected, he happily accepts and joins the band. Later, the two, along with the other bandmates, give a beautiful performance. This only makes Liz remember the times she and Bads used to spend time together performing small gigs. Once the show is over, the two head out to a restaurant for dinner. Elsewhere, Smile is stuck with her chatty rented boy. At one point, the boy gets involved with a group of gangsters and bets on a car race with them. What's surprising is, he declares Smile as the winning prize. Unfortunately, the rented boy loses the race and he has to hand over Smile to the gangster group. Scared, she begs him not to leave her alone with the shady guys, but the boy is indifferent, so he drives off with no concern for our helpless heroine. Now, with no way out of the situation, Smile secretly texts Bads and alerts him of her dangerous situation. Bads, who is having dinner with Liz, hurriedly leaves the table as soon as he gets the message. Thankfully, he arrives just in time to save our princess. Bads brawls with the gangsters and takes some punches in return. In the meantime, Smile's head is hurt and she falls unconscious. Next, Bads brings Smiles to her apartment and looks after her. At the same time, Ani arrives at the room and apologizes for disturbing the two. She is just about to leave when Bads grabs her hand and reveals the truth. He explains that Smile rented him from the Rent-A-Boy program and that she still likes Cairo. Hearing this, Ani finally understands the situation and promises to take care of Smile. Bads then returns to the restaurant to rejoin Liz for dinner, but to his misfortune, she has already left. One of the staff brings a note left by her, which reads that she cannot wait for Bads anymore. This confirms the couple's official breakup. Back at Smile's apartment, she regains consciousness and finds Ani by her side. The latter apologizes for misinterpreting Smile's situation and promises to be with her till death. Saying this, the girls reconcile and embrace each other. The following day, Smile meets with Bads and extends her heartfelt thank you for saving her the other day. She also announces that she is re-renting him, making him happy. However, Bads' happiness is short-lived as Smile asks him to arrange a meeting with Cairo at the club. Initially, Bads is hesitant, but as part of his duty, he agrees. He then texts Cairo through Smile's phone and asks him out. Being the flirt he is, Cairo immediately agrees to the meeting. Later that evening, Smile is dressed in a cute brown dress to impress her crush. Bads accompanies her to the club and then waits outside. But after a while, a shady-looking guy approaches Smile and starts to harass her. She starts screaming in fear when Cairo arrives at the scene and chases the guy away. After the situation calms down, Smile thanks Cairo and explains her excitement about encountering him. However, he mentions that she still hasn't been able to make his heart beat faster. This angers Smile so much that she comes closer to him and abruptly kisses him. They make out for a long time, then shift towards the couch. Cairo decides to take things further, but since Smile isn't ready for it, she stops him. She then leaves the room and runs towards her rented boy. Bads guesses Cairo took things too far, so he comforts Smile and hugs her. Meanwhile, Liz is out with her family for an afternoon brunch. We learn that she has a wicked stepsister who knows nothing but to demonize Liz. Even today, she is berating Liz for absolutely no reason. And to make matters worse, their father also joins in. Fortunately, before the situation can get any worse, Cairo comes to the rescue and takes Liz away from her toxic family. The two then go to a beachside where Liz is curious how Cairo knew about her whereabouts. He responds mysteriously, saying that since she rented him, he should know everything about her. The two then chat for a while and spend a nice sunny day together. Cut to the next scene. Smile wants to learn how to impress Cairo even after everything that has happened to her. Bads doesn't think it's a good idea, so he initially refuses. He calls her childish since Smile wants to learn how to become more intimate with Cairo. However, Bads eventually gives in and they book a hotel room later that night. While in the room, Smile gets ready to learn tricks from Bads. They start kissing each other and the scene starts getting intense. Suddenly, she gets something in her eye, which starts to sting her. Fretting, she leaves the room, and Bads, who is half undressed, goes after her. Suddenly, they bump into Liz and Cairo, who also happen to be there. Turns out it's Cairo's birthday, so they booked a room to celebrate the big day. Soon enough, the tension between the boys finally erupts when Bads punches Cairo, yelling and questioning why he is with his girl. Cairo also punches back, claiming Liz isn't his girl, as they had broken up. The two then brawl for a while, but before anyone can get hurt, the girls intervene. After the commotion is over, the boys cool down and the four meet in a private room. While Smile and Cairo stay aside, Bads and Liz clear up the air by confronting each other. Liz continues to ask why he is with Smile, but our boy cannot reveal the truth. He is in fact ashamed to reveal that he works for the Rent-A-Boy program. However, he assures her that he hasn't been doing anything shady. As for Liz, she clearly saw him half naked with Smile, so there is no way she can trust his words. She finally tells him to let go of her and storms out of the room with Cairo. After a while, Liz breaks down in desperation. She believes that she's been deceived and lied to all her life. Cairo tries to comfort her, but in the process, she gets excited and kisses him passionately. Things soon get intense, and they end up having sex. On the other side of the room, Bads and Smile are both heartbroken. Bad's found out Liz is with Cairo, and Smile has finally realized that Cairo likes Liz. They sit together, talking about how unfortunate both of them are. They then promise that they will never go after their lovers and live the best days of their lives from now on. Soon enough, they start feeling like themselves and get back to their usual antics of playing with each other. The following morning, Smile wakes up to find herself cozied up in Bad's arms. She worries something happened between them and starts to cry. Bad soothes her, and suddenly, Smile opens her eyes wide and reveals that she was just pretending to be sad. Apparently, she doesn't remember anything about the other night. However, Bads gets serious and reveals he remembers everything. Something did happen between them. This shocks the innocent Smile, so she starts to cry, saying she didn't want that to happen. Bads then discloses that he's just playing with her. Nothing serious happened between them. In fact, they had a pillow fight and Smile fell down on the bed and hurt her head. Bads then helped her to get back on the bed, and they soon fell asleep. Hearing this, Smile is finally relieved. Meanwhile, Liz visits a hospital to meet Cairo's father. Turns out he has been ill for a long time. Since Cairo wouldn't visit him due to old feuds, Liz decided to see him herself. At the hospital, she introduces herself as Cairo's friend and acts very politely throughout the conversation. The old man asks about his son and starts reminiscing about the happy times he spent with his family. Elsewhere at school, we see the female lead from the drama club backbiting about Smile in the bathroom. She envies how Smile is always glued to Bads. Supposedly, the lead female likes Bads and is planning to propose to him right after the play. It turns out Smile is also present in the bathroom and listening to all the gossip about her. However, due to her innocent nature, she cannot bring herself to take any action. Meanwhile, Liz returns from the hospital and reveals her visit to Cairo. Unfortunately, he doesn't take it well and storms off angrily. Following this, Liz goes to Cairo's aunt's place and learns about his entire childhood. Apparently, after Cairo's biological mother died, his dad married a younger woman. Everything went well until one day the stepmother stole all of Cairo's dad's money and took off. It was the same day as Cairo's birthday. While he was waiting for his dad to play games with him, the latter unleashed all of his anger towards him. Poor Cairo was kicked and beaten by his dad, who had been drinking all day. After that, Cairo took his stuff, moved out, and never came back to visit his dad. After learning about Cairo's past, Liz goes to see him and somehow convinces him to visit his old place. The two enter his previous room, and Liz starts sharing her story. It turns out her mother was also sick, and she took great care of her during her final days. She explains that they should put the past aside so they can live in the present without any regret or guilt. Just then, Cairo notices that his dad had set up the toy train and has been waiting for him to play ever since. This makes him emotional as he remembers the sweet and good times spent with his dad. The two then decide to visit Cairo's dad in the hospital. Unfortunately, when they enter his room, they see no one. They start to worry, thinking something might have happened to him. Fortunately, his dad returns to the room, saying he had just gotten out to get some fresh air. The father-son finally settle their differences as they hug each other. One day, Smile goes to see Bads' play. She brings him a bouquet and cheers for him from the audience seat. But once the play comes to a close, Smile feels bad when she sees Bads kissing the main female lead as part of the show. Following the play, she congratulates him, but we can clearly see her gloomy face. Bads notices this and asks her if something is bothering her. Smile finally breaks her silence and reveals that she doesn't like seeing him kissing other girls, although it isn't her place to say that. She adds that she is often jealous when she sees him with the female lead of the play. Hearing this, Bads suddenly kisses Smile in front of everyone. While the crowd cheers, the female lead is shocked and envious. Everyone calls the couple real-life Romeo and Juliet and congratulate their new relationship. Bads also asks if Smile wants to be his girlfriend, but she doesn't say anything at the moment. Elsewhere, Cairo drops off Liz at her home. Before parting, he too inquires if she wants to be his girlfriend. Liz doesn't say anything, so Cairo kisses her. Meanwhile, Bads accompanies Smile to her apartment. She is worried about Ani, as things could really turn bad if she found out about the relationship. Smile then gets inside her apartment, only to find Ani has been waiting for her. Thankfully, she doesn't know anything yet, so the girls chat normally. Smile becomes so worried that she falls sick with a high fever. The next day, she gathers all her courage and attends Bad's concert. It turns out that he has also been waiting for her, and that's why he hadn't started his performance. As soon as he sees Smile, he cheers up and starts singing a song. However, her health suddenly worsens and she falls unconscious on the ground. Bads immediately jumps off stage and takes Smile to his apartment. After a few hours of caring, she finally regains consciousness and feels better. Bads then asks her if she thought about his proposal, but Smile replies that she is worried about Ani. Regardless, she kisses him, and Bads, too, kisses her back. Meanwhile, we finally meet Bads' sister Sharon, who is revealed to be one of the first users of the Boy for Rent program. She bumps into Liz and Cairo in the market and becomes shocked. It turns out she is still unaware of her brother's breakup with Liz. However, the couple quickly clarifies that Bads is no longer with Liz. As the three continue chatting, Sharon reveals about the Rent-A-Boy program, and Liz finally understands why Bads had been acting so weird lately. So, she meets with him in the evening and apologizes for judging him unfairly. Although confused, Bads accepts her apology, and the two promise to remain good friends. Meanwhile, Sharon and Smile have a little chat where the former explains Bads and Liz's previous bond. She mentions that they will always love each other and that Smile shouldn't come between them. A while later, Liz confronts Cairo, asking him whether he knew if Bads was involved with the program. Although hesitant at first, he eventually discloses that he knew everything. In fact, he lied to her just so he could get her attention. Apparently, it was like a game to him. He felt Liz was a winning trophy, so he kept hiding the truth until he could finally get her. Hearing all this, Liz is so disgusted that she slaps him 3 times. She then warns him to never see her again before walking away. Elsewhere, Smile decides to come clean with her best friend Ani. She reveals that she has started to develop feelings for Bads. Surprisingly, Ani mentions that she already knew about this, so she understands. She was only waiting for Smile to mention it first. The two best friends settle their differences as they don't want anything to come between their precious bond. In the next scene, Bads is visited by the manager, warning him of his responsibility. Apparently, Bads cannot date his own client unless the contract is void. If he does, he is charged an extra lot of money. With a gloomy heart, Bad roams around the city and enters a cafe, which turns out to be the one where he and Liz met for the first time. Surprisingly, she also happens to be there, so the two eat lunch together. They reminisce about their old memories and spend some quality time together. Later, the cafe owner provides them with 2 free movie tickets, so they decide to go watch the movie. Before that, they also go to the mall and play some games. While all of this is happening, Bad starts to miss Smile, whom he had played games with previously. After they are done for the day, Bads and Liz go to the beach where they can have some peaceful time for themselves. Unsurprisingly, this reminds Liz of the time she came to the beach with Kyro. They chat for a while, and Liz asks Bad if he still has feelings for her. Bads asks the same question to her, and she remains mum. Out of nowhere, he kisses her, but it's evident that they would rather be kissing other people. For instance, Bads has a flashback of being intimate with Smile, while Liz starts missing Cairo. Finally, they both realize that they don't have feelings for each other, and that their relationship as lovers has finally come to an end. Hence, they share a bittersweet moment and promise to take care of each other, even though they have started to like somebody else. The following day at school, Smile and Ani join the drama class. The teacher reveals that they will be doing a new horror show where Smile will be the female lead, while the male lead will be none other than Cairo. Later that evening, the teacher, his staff, and Smile go to a forest area in order to shoot the movie. They set up a fake ghost for the shoot, and Cairo also arrives at the scene as the male lead. Once they start rehearsing, Smile sees a real ghost in the dark. She begins to freak out and calls for help. When the teachers and the other staff also see the ghost, they flee the scene. Realizing that they are alone, Smile freaks out even more and runs away, but in the process, she hurts her leg. Thankfully, Cairo comes to her rescue and gives her a piggyback ride. He apologizes to Smile for treating her so badly when all she did was see the good side of him. He then asks if she wants to go out with him, like on a real date. Smile remains silent, but eventually says that she will think about it. The following night, the whole movie team hang out in a club. They play a game of dare, where one has to either drink a shot or kiss the person next to them. At one point, Smile has to take the punishment. Since she hates alcohol, she has to kiss the person sitting right next to her, who turns out to be none other than Cairo. However, Bads appears out of nowhere and intervenes. He then grabs Smile's hand and excuses themselves from the group. Once they are alone, Smile reveals that she already told her answer to Sharon. They answered to Bads' question about whether she wants to be his girlfriend. It turns out she said no, not because she didn't like him, but because she felt like she was ruining his relationship with Liz. Additionally, Bads was not consistent with his feelings as he would often go out with Liz. Hearing all this, an emotional Bads hugs her and apologizes to her. He reveals he has broken it off clean with Liz and that they are now nothing more than good friends. He then slowly kisses Smile, mentioning that their official dating starts now. Our protagonist doesn't say a word. She simply goes with the flow, indicating that she is happy about it. Elsewhere, as Liz is hanging out in the club with her best friend, a sketchy-looking boy suddenly starts meddling with her. Liz makes it clear that she isn't interested in him, but the boy keeps on harassing her. He eventually follows her outside and becomes rude to her. Fortunately, Cairo arrives at the scene and teaches the guy a hard lesson. After that, he offers to drive her home, but Liz starts acting weird. She is friendlier with him than last time. She even flirts with him as if it's their first meeting. Once they arrive at Liz's room, Cairo asks her if she is okay. He guesses that maybe she is acting weird because of the recent breakup. Liz doesn't delve into the topic, but instead says she wants to play with him tonight. After this, the pair gets intimate with each other. The following morning, Cairo wakes up to find Liz gone. Shortly after, he is visited by the manager from the Rent-A-Boy program, who warns him not to get emotionally involved with his client, Liz. But it turns out, Liz has already canceled the contract with him, so Cairo is getting a new client today. And the new client turns out to be none other than Liz's evil stepsister. She rented Cairo, knowing that Liz likes him. The next day, Cairo joins an afternoon brunch with the stepsister and her friends. There, she continuously badmouths Liz and demeans her. Having had enough, Cairo finally stands up and yells at the stepsister. He then throws a hefty amount of money in her face, accusing her of being a materialistic girl with a wicked heart. Meanwhile, Smile follows Sharon and her boyfriend to a cafe as she smells something fishy. After a bit of snooping around, she learns that Baz has actually been paying off the debts of her sister's boyfriend. Turns out, he is the one who owes money to the manager of the Rent-A-Boy program. After Sharon leaves, Smile overhears the boyfriend talking about the money on the phone. He is actually using the debt money for his personal benefit. To get more information, Smile follows him to the garage, but this time she gets caught. Some other goons also surround her and start taunting her. But thankfully, Bads arrives at the right time to save his girl. He had become worried after she didn't answer his calls, so he tracked her phone. Bads then teaches the goons a lesson by beating them black and blue. His sister also learns about the situation and is heartbroken that her boyfriend was scamming her this entire time. In the following scene, Bads confronts the manager and learns that he too knew about the money scam. Fuming, he punches the manager and cancels his contract, demanding all the money back. He then hugs Smile and advises her to never be involved in such a situation. Elsewhere, Cairo and Liz meet up to perform a concert with their band. However, after the performance, Liz becomes emotional and gets off the stage. Cairo follows her and reveals the recent interaction with her stepsister. He then officially asks Liz to be his girlfriend, and this time, she gladly accepts. After this, the two visit the manager, who is covered in bruises, thanks to Bads. Cairo also cancels his contract and throws it in the manager's face. There is a happy ending to this show, as all of them are together with the ones they truly love. However, we learn that the manager still runs the Rent-A-Boy program.